Hello. Wow. Some of these talks have been so inspiring, and it's also really nice to see so many of us are on the same page. So I'm Stephanie Darvill. I'm COO and co-founder of a startup called Align. And today I'm going to speak about hustle culture. So in 2020, I left the corporate industry after burnout. And then I was starting to think about what should be my next career move, what's going to fit me and help me grow. And I started to think about the startup life because everyone screams about all the freedom and flexibility and creativity and innovation it has. So I thought, that's going to be a place where I can stick to my values, of still prioritizing my mental health, and at the same time be able to grow in my career. And it seems like a really healthy work environment. I was wrong, and pretty soon after founding my startup, I got punched in the face with the hustle culture. And believe me, I competed in Taekwondo for 11 years, so I'm very used to being punched in the face. But this one just felt unreasonable. So hands up if you've heard of what the hustle culture is. Okay, a few of you. So the hustle culture is the idea that you need to be working all day, every day, to be considered successful in your entrepreneur pursuit. And you might have the image of someone that's purchased a sleeping bag because they're going to sleep under their desk every single night because they need to hustle. And at the same time as purchasing their sleeping bag, they've also purchased a one-way ticket to unicorn status. Now, it can also be called the grind culture or the burnout culture, and there's a lot of problems with this. And one of them is that the hustler is dependent on having someone at home to care for every other element in life. And I'm not going to tell you where that burden falls, because I think you all know. Two, it really shuts out so many talented individuals that would be amazing entrepreneurs and have very successful businesses, but they simply can't or won't buy into that culture. And thirdly, if you're buying into the hustle culture, then you are confusing privilege for passion, because only the most privileged can actually buy into that lifestyle. So one thing I want to say as well is that you're also suffering from something called survivorship bias. There's a lot of people that think the hustle culture works because look at all of this list of successful startups. But really, you're only looking at the successful and the survivors of that. Have we considered the millions of startup founders that are still struggling with their physical and mental health after having a startup? And that's when I started to think, when I was in investor meetings and when I was having meetings with potential buyers, potential investors, do I need to buy into this? Do I need to start showcasing myself, speaking up more, and activating one side of my personality more so that I can get those doors open and get into a position where I can change the way that the culture works right now? But that didn't really sit with me because that was also going to go against my values of being open about my mental health, speaking about being vulnerable. And I'd be doing that just because I was afraid to look weak in front of the decision makers. And, don't get me wrong, me standing here now doesn't mean that every bone in my body doesn't want my startup to succeed. It just means I'm not willing to do it at the expense of my mental and physical health. And I don't think anyone should either. And then I started thinking a little bit more practical about it, and I thought, but we all know a calm mind is a creative mind, and to be creative, that leads to innovation. And the key to have a successful startup is to do something that no one's done before. Therefore, you need to be innovative. So why are we talking so much about this culture, which actively suggests you should have no boundaries and be busy all the time, when we know the key to success is having a calm mind and actually caring for your mental health, and that's where brilliance comes? And the two don't combine. So I suggest that we need to redefine what hustle means. There's many routes of success, and just because this route worked before doesn't mean there's other routes. And I am very, very grateful that there are so many people here that are showing that you can succeed with a startup, you can succeed in any entrepreneurial life, you can succeed as a leader in a corporate company without having to work every single hour of the day and sacrificing everything else in your life. So thank you for doing that, and I'm also glad of the others that are going to be showing the next generation as well. And that's when I started to think, if we need to redefine what being a hustler means, but then I thought, hang on, there's someone, if we're talking about someone that prioritizes their work and every other area of their life, or someone that only focuses on work, I know which one I would pick as a hustler by the definition of what it means, by balancing out so many things in one go. So why are we praising these people on this side? And when I was preparing this talk, I wanted to come up here and I wanted to give you all of the solutions, and I found the success of having good mental health and being a startup founder. But I don't have the answer. If you do, please let me know. But also I realized that that would me be buying into this toxic culture as well, because this culture says that you should have all of the answers. And actually, I'll say instead, why don't we have all of the questions? And we'll start from there. So please connect with me on LinkedIn, or come up to me later, and I'm going to pose 3 questions to you all and say, what do we need to change in the ecosystem so that this culture can be healthier? What is the most important to you to not compromise your mental health and still succeed in your career? And also, how can all of us collaborate so that we can change this industry for the good? Thank you.
Woo! Thank you.